I'm from where niggas pull your card and argue all day about who's the best MCs, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas.
Top 5 dead or alive, and that's just off one LP.
I will still be on top.
Trust me, at the top it isn't lonely.
All hail King Cole, first of his name, long may reign.
Now I run the game, got the whole world talking. King Culture, everybody wanna cut the legs off. King Culture, black man taking no losses. Oh yeah.
You just tuned in to Top 5 by Zoe, the admirer of airtight flows, minor chord progressions, and intricate bass lines. Today we have a special guest. Introduce yourself, your social media, and what you do.
I like that. You just came on real smooth. Hey, it's Top 5 by Zoe. But nah.
Move the mic close.
All right, but my name is Mo. It's Mo. I'm a female artist. I rap. Got a little vocals here and there, so I'm pretty versatile with it. My Instagram is the prototype, so that'll be ThePrototype__. I have Twitter. My Twitter is RGMO_, so that's RGMOE_. From Queens. I've been doing this for a little minute, so.
So how'd you start in music? Like, what was your first experiences growing up like with music?
My first experiences, it's not necessarily weird, but it's just interesting. So my older brother, he used to rap or whatever, so he was heavy on like 50 Cent, G-Unit, Banks, all those. So
I was listening to G-Unit on my way here anyway.
Yeah, so he was heavily into it. So I was probably like 5, 6, and I always looked up to him. Like, I was following him with the rap. I was following him playing ball. So I would listen to him freestyle. He would record his little stuff, and then I would just like take the words he said and like switch them around and kind of just like make my own thing. So I started from there, and then eventually I stick to it. Like, and as I got older, like I learned a lot of new stuff and incorporated with like stuff that he's taught me through it. I got a few songs with him that I recorded. So yeah, he was pretty much like my biggest influence to start music.
What's the what type? You said you were listening to a lot of G-Unit and stuff like that. What was the music that was being played in your household mostly?
In my household, my mom, she listened to a lot of different things. She's from the South, but for some reason she was heavily on like reggae music. So it was a lot of Barris, it was a lot of Bob Marley, it was a lot of Sanchez.
Wow.
All of that good stuff. And then of course she had her things like what was it, like, I can't really remember the artist names, but I know it's a lot of stuff she used to listen to. Like, my turn this off, like I don't want to hear none of that. And I think one was like Planet of the Disco or something like that. So it was very versatile. And then on behalf of my dad, he's Jamaican, so West Indian. He would listen to a lot of Bob Marley. He would listen to a lot of Creole music. Like, I didn't really understand what they were saying. He didn't either, but he would try to piece it together.
Vibe, though.
Yeah, it's just a vibe. Like Zouk.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a throwback. Oh, wow.
He was listening to all of that. So I picked up on a lot of different things that influences my music in a lot of different ways.
So what really made you aspire to be a rapper?
As I said, my brother influenced me, so it was always something I enjoyed, like listening to music. I always listen to music. Everything I do, like I have a problem like sitting in silence. So music just puts me in a good mood, and it gets me going through whatever I'm doing, whether it's studying, whether it's cooking, whether it's just commuting on my way to and from work, in the shower. So that keeps me going, just hearing different sounds from the different type of artists. And I'm just like, okay, like I could build up my own sound too. Like I could put stuff together. I could be unique. So I think that's what really just inspired me to keep going and stay committed to it.
So in terms of your style of music, how would you define like what type of rapping that you do? Like what's your what's one thing that you would say that people who listen to you would get out of listening to you?
I would say one thing people would get out of my music is just me being me. I don't really, you know, a lot of people, they fabricate. Oh yeah, I got this. My watch costs this. I got car. I don't do that. Like, I talk about real life experiences and stuff that I really go through, or stuff that I really have, and I think that builds a foundation for a lot of people's music. Like, you can tell if somebody, say if you go in the booth and you're like, yeah, I got this, I got so many cars, I got this, and people gonna be like, okay, we don't see, like, you don't showcase that, so it's like, all right, you just fabricating your stuff. But it's more believable when it's true.
Right.
People can relate to it. So that's the type of stuff that I try to put out. Like, I put in real life experiences, stuff that I really go through, or stuff like that. So I think that's just my own style. Like.
How transparent are you in your music? Like, do we know about your childhood growing up, or do we know about your relationships, current relationships, past relationships in your music?
I do write a lot. Like, as far as being transparent, I write a lot of experiences down. I don't have too much of them, like, going in depth recorded. But I did drop my first EP. It's been about a while, like 2 years ago, but I was kind of. What's the name of it? It's called Catch 22. So I was kind of transparent on there. As far as like a relationship, I had, like, at the time recently got into a relationship, so I was feeling my shorty. I was like, yeah, this is the one. So I got like a song or two dedicated kind of to her on there, just like our experiences coming through. But in general, like, I can say I'm fairly transparent. I do plan on, you know, moving forward, being more transparent as to letting people see what actually goes on behind the scenes. So, you know, everybody sees the outside, and everybody has their preconceived notions of who you are or what you go through. So I do plan on actually like giving them the real, the raw, so they know firsthand. Yeah.
So what was the process like what's your process in making your music, like from head to pen, like like what's your process like? Yes.
I think my process, I always start with a beat. So I listen to beats, and I'll run through like a whole catalog of beats. My go-to is mostly YouTube, so I'll just click. You know, they have the suggestions, and you keep clicking, and I find a few, add them to my favorites. Then after I got a good hand-selected few, I go back, listen to them again, and then the beats that stand out, I'm like, yeah, this is it. Like, once I just bob my head, get a melody, I'm like, yeah, this is it. All right. And then I just keep narrowing it down. And then when I get that one beat, I try to, like, write at least one song a day. So I get that one beat for the day, and then I just go in on it, put the speaker all the way up. Like, I feel like more stuff come to my head when the louder the beat. So
yeah, a lot of stuff is
coming. I'm like, yeah, nah, this is fire, and I'm bumping it, and I start coming up with words. And I usually start with a hook. If I'm doing, like, a song that requires a hook or a chorus, I start there. And then once I got my hook down packed, then that basically sets the foundation of what the song is going to be about. So once I got that down, then I start my verse, and once I get my verse, that's it. And then the process, get in the booth, record that, and then the ad-libs, you know, any extra add-ons I want to do, if I want to add any melodies on, that comes in the process, of course, along with the help of my engineer. He helps me a lot. He has an ear for music, so I respect him. Zeus, I don't know if you ever listened to this, but Zeus, he's the man. He's the man.
Wow, shouts to him.
Yeah.
Also, we have Z name, so that's dope.
Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting that you brought up your engineer being a key to helping you with your music, because a lot of people kind of, you know, mostly shout out the producer in terms of, like, you know, creating the beats and whatever. Yeah. But I think the engineer is usually, like, a very important component to, you know, helping with your sound and how you come off on that beat and emphasizing that. So that's dope that you gave him a shout out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, there are a lot of engineers, like, they just in it for the money. Like, okay, yeah, I know how to do the basics. Come record your stuff, and then I'm gonna mix it. But it's important to have your engineer engaging, because they're gonna be honest with you. If something doesn't sound right, they're gonna tell you. If you need to add this, they're gonna tell you. If, you know, you need to fix just a little pitch, they're gonna go in deep into what they're mixing in and actually listen, and they'll tell you. And that's the type of stuff you need. You don't need to have an engineer and you recording and you pay for your session, all that stuff, and you get home, you listening, and you like, oh, nah, I messed this up, or I said this, or this sounds crazy, or you need your engineer to really be engaged in what you're doing, because they're responsible for your music just as much as you are. So,
yes.
Yeah, it's definitely important.
As a well, even though you've been doing music for a while, but would you still categorize yourself as a new artist? What's most important to you as an artist?
I definitely do consider myself still a new artist. I feel like there's a lot I still have to learn. So I would say, yeah, I'm a veteran as far as time. Like, I've been doing this for a while, but there's so much more to learn, especially with, like, music changing over time. Like, there's so much new stuff coming in. So just to adapt to that and try to still be relevant in what people want to hear today. Yeah.
So lately there's been the landscape of hip hop has had a resurgence of a variety of women in hip hop, and that's a main reason why I wanted you on the show, because I haven't had a female rapper on the show. So thank you for being the first one.
No problem. I really appreciate it.
What do you think about women in hip hop in terms of like where we're at with it now? Because in my opinion, women in hip hop is not a new thing. Like in the 90s, there were so many, like you had the Salt and Peppers, and like even in the 80s, you had Queen Latifah and Roxanne Shante, MC Lyte. Like I could go on and on and on. Or like we had Lil Kim and Foxy and stuff like that. So now I feel like we're getting back to that variety where we have like the Rhapsodies, the Megan Thee Stallions, we have the City Girls, we have all these people, Nicki Cardi. What's your view of it now?
I think it's definitely a good thing that we're getting back to that. The only problem with it is I think females are naturally catty, and it's worse in this generation. So it's always going to be competition. She's coming in, she's still in my shine. Like, it's only room for one of us, when it doesn't have to be like that. Everybody has their own unique style, and it's room for everybody. So I am glad that there are more female artists coming out and, you know, showcasing what they got. And I just don't like the fact that there always have to be that competition. Like,
yeah, I honestly, in my opinion, I think like the competition factor isn't always necessarily the girls. I think it's more of social media pinning people together, or like the audience in a way too.
That too.
Yeah, like it's all the factors above.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like saying like, okay, obviously we have a natural like competition and like ego. Then it's like, okay, like even when Nicki and Cardi wasn't beefing, it's just like just saying, yo, you bitches is trying to steal my shine. You could say that about that could be a general line about any bitches, but they just be like, okay, it's just Nicki and Cardi right now at the top, so we're gonna put them together for that to be a thing.
And
so,
it gets so personal.
Yeah,
like, they take it so personal. Like, I understand like the friendly competition part of it, but it gets personal. Like, I feel like it probably won't be no coming back from it. Like, it could be, but it won't be the same. Like, it'll still be that feeling of, all right, like, yeah, she's still salty, or she's still mad because she can't take this spot. Like,
yeah,
that's what's gonna be there.
Yeah. So, who's some women rappers that you listen to right now?
Right now, I love Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes, I love her too.
Megan Thee Stallion. That's bae right there. Like, I'm going to Atlanta on the 19th. She got a show out there that same night. Like,
wow.
I'm really trying to make it and get in there.
I'm so jealous.
But yeah.
Apparently, she's like going to be at Summer Jam, and I honestly don't even want to go to Summer Jam this year, but I just would want to go see her, honestly, just because she's going to be in New York. And
That's
I feel
crazy.
like, when's the next time I'm going to actually be able to see her?
Exactly. And my sister, she sent me, she like, nah, Megan going to be at Summer Jam. Let's go. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it always rain at Summer Jam. Like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. But then Megan Thee Stallion going to be there. So, yeah.
And I actually might not even be around. I might be in LA. But I'm just like, I do like, what do you like about Megan Thee Stallion? Because you go and then I'll go.
All right. I think, like, she came in strong. Like, I don't really know how long she's been out. I'm just recently getting on her, but I just like her energy. Like she come on, she say what she want on her songs, how she want to say it. Don't care about what nobody got to say. And I think that's important, especially as a female rapper. Like, everybody is going to criticize you for the stuff you talk about or the stuff you rap about. Like, granted, yeah, female, like, oh, yeah, my pussy this, my pussy that. She's saying that, but she also talks about other stuff. So she is versatile in her music. And also, as far as image, everybody want the fake ass, the this, the that. She's natural. Like, and she actually embraces herself, so I definitely like that about her too. And just from like, I watch her social media a lot. Like, I watch her live videos and stuff. I feel like she has like a dope ass personality. Like, just to be around, she's probably mad fun. But then again, being herself, like not caring what nobody else has to say about it, not putting on an image for anybody else. So I definitely admire that about her.
Yeah, I think it's dope to see like when artists are being themselves, like back to that transparency of being, like you said, of I'm really me in my music. And like even what she like, besides like, I don't always want to hear lyrical miracle type shit, but also the way that she says certain things, like I like the way that she emphasized, like she could talk about the same, like, yes, my pussy this, my pussy that, but the way she'll say shit, like her punchlines are really like, wow, okay, for you to even categorize it in that way or to even say it like that is interesting to me. And besides the fact that one of my favorite rap groups is A Tribe Called Quest, and like Q-Tip is mentoring her is like amazing to me.
That.
Like,
I think that's definitely
so
dope.
you already know that like
it's gonna be something. She about to go down in the books. Like,
and I like her trajectory in terms, like you said, you watch her lives. I watch her lives too, and she's like really just herself. Yeah, and that transforms into her freestyles and stuff like that. And even speaking of freestyles, you do a lot of freestyles.
Yes, I do.
Why is that important to you as an artist?
I think it's important. Specifically for me, I think it's important because right now I'm not always, like, I don't always have the time to go to the studio, and I'm not too big on like Instagram and stuff, but that's always also a way for me to like stay relevant on it. So I try to drop as much freestyles as possible and just throw it up so people know, all right, she's still around, she's still rapping, even though she's not in a booth right now or didn't drop a project in a little while, like the bars are still there. But I think that's important for any artist, that's to also to show like versatility. Like, yeah, you can make music, anybody could freestyle, anybody can make a song, but to know that you can do both. Like, say if somebody come, they throw a freestyle, put some words together, okay, that doesn't mean you know how to make a good song. Right. Anybody could, you know, ABC 1 2 3, you and me, we and she. Oh, wow. But to actually make a good song with content, you know, that's effort and that's work that have to be put in. But you do have to stay relevant, especially in this generation. Everything is based on social media. So you gotta post freestyle videos, you gotta post actual videos, you gotta post a lot. So
how do you feel about like when in freestyle in terms of like writing freestyles or doing it off the dome? Like, everybody feels like, I mean, a freestyle is technically by definition is like a song that doesn't necessarily is not formatted. Yeah. You know, so like it won't have like a hook all the time, like that type thing. So what is your like method in terms of freestyling? What does it mean to you?
In terms of freestyling, you wanna know like my method, like how I do it, or just all right? So, it's the same thing, the same process like a beat. If I really like a beat, like if it's somebody else beat, like a remix of a song or whatever, I'm like, nah, this beat fire. I'm gonna put this on, turn that all the way up, start bumping, and then I just flow with it. Like, I try to come off the top of the dome, and then I'll write it down and always just come back and revisit a few lines, especially before I record a video, because I want to make sure my stuff's together. I don't want to be recording and then start talking and then my words sound crazy or get slurred. Like, I want to make sure I have everything in format and it sounds okay. A lot of people be like, oh yeah, like I could just freestyle off the dome and it sound good all the way through. I think a lot of people really pen it down and practice before they go on and freestyle in front of other people. I'm not gonna lie, I do that. Not everybody can just, you know, let it flow.
I think it's Jay-Z's fault. He's the one that made everybody feel like they needed to like say stuff off the dome and never write, like, because that's been his thing.
That's his thing, yeah.
I'm blaming him.
It works for some people, but some people it doesn't work.
And I also
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like you have just as much credence of writing something down because it's your creative IP. Like, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's the same thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So we come to the favorite part of the show where
made me nervous.
don't be nervous. I don't want to make you nervous. Where we ask people who their top 5 is, and for you, I want to say who are your top 5 musical inspirations in Black music?
Inspirations in Black music,
and why?
I know a lot of people, like, if they get asked this question, they automatically go to, like, old school artists or, like, artists that been around, like, from before time that set a foundation. Mine is pretty much versatile for the most part. I say my top 1 is J. Cole. J. Cole, but I also love Drake. Beres Hammond is definitely a big influence. Like I said, that was one of like my household names. My mom was always listening to some Beres, so I do look up to a lot of the stuff that he says in his music, and I try to incorporate it in mine. Another one I could say is I love Luther Vandross. Never too much, never too much, never too much. I love some Luther Vandross.
Same.
And another guy, a lot of people don't really know about Eric Bellinger.
I love E.
I love Eric Bellinger.
President.
Right now, he got it over everybody. Like, he performed at SOBs a few weeks ago. I actually went, and I have to say, he's an amazing performer.
Wow, how was that?
It was amazing. Like, he sounds just as he sounds on his album, on his songs. So that was a very good experience.
Nobody has brought up Eric Bellinger on the show yet. And honestly, in terms of like current R&B, like he's been the most consistent.
He has.
And in terms of like making, this gonna be your favorite song, like coining something that's personal to him and like what he talks about is pretty dope. And I feel like he's flown under the radar a little bit.
He is, but the thing, he writes for other people, and that usually happens a lot with artists who like write for other people. Like their stuff popped with the artist they write for, but when it comes time for them to showcase their own thing, it doesn't pop enough. I don't really understand why, but I definitely feel like he doesn't get enough recognition for what he does as his own artist and for an artist writing for other people. So I do feel like he's slept on.
Wow. Yeah. I'm glad you brought him up because his projects are so dope to me, and like although he has like a contemporary sound in terms of like what R&B sounds like nowadays, he also is pretty original. He's collaborated with like your faves, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's had songs like Chris Brown, or he'll like I like LA and like I don't know ELHAE. He's a R&B artist. He has collaborations with him. Like he'll collaborate with people that we've known, and you just like I don't know.
He got music with Nipsey.
Like,
he's so versatile. He got a lot. He has a lot of music going on.
Yeah, and you brought up J. Cole as like your number 1. Like, what about him is like so influential to you?
Cole, I think his whole journey has been influential. Like, I can relate to him a lot. Like, as far as like family and life, everybody has their own personal struggles they have going on, but I think I can relate to J. Cole a lot. As far as him growing up, and his dad being there for a short period of time and leaving. Like, my dad has been in my life for pretty much most of my life, but as of recent, like, I just see a lot of things relatable, like, as the relationship with my dad and in comparison to his, and, just how my mom was treated, and, me having my siblings and have to take care of my siblings the same way he had to take care of his, and then just him growing up, and he always been into music, him going to school. I also been to school. I got my degree. He got his degree. He's still going. He kept going. He worked hard for what he wanted, and he finally made it. and then influential as far as the stuff that he talks about in his music. You know, he's very much out there. Like he pays attention political wise and just a lot of things that's going on in society these days. And I just look up to it because, like I said, there's artists that all they talk about is watch, cars, house, this. He talks about that, but he also touches things that are very important that people should be aware of. So I like listening to his music. Like, he has a few songs that make me cry every time I listen to it. So,
wow.
Those are just for days where I'm just chilling in the crib and nobody around. Like, you know, I'm outside, I gotta put on a tough look. I don't want nobody to know I'm crying, I'm a gangster. But in the house,
You
like,
don't got no tears?
no tears.
What's tears? What's that?
Exactly. Like, but I be chilling. Born Sinner come on. I feel that teardrop, and I'm like, nah, I gotta turn. So.
That's how I picture most J. Cole fans to
Yeah.
be. Like, honestly, and I always say this because people kind of like get misconstrued that I'm not a Cole fan. Like, I love Cole, and I've seen him like so many times in concert, and like I just have my critiques that people don't generally have, but I definitely love Cole. Like, one of my friends said, like, J. Cole music is like basketball shorts and hoodie music.
Nah, it is. And you know what's crazy? That's like his main attire. So it literally goes.
Yes.
Like, I could picture him in a booth just like that with some basketball shorts and a hoodie and shit.
And his locks
off.
just flying all over the place. But
yeah, I think he's definitely a definition of basketball shorts and a hoodie. That's mad funny.
That is hilarious.
That's mad funny. But
So where do you see yourself as an artist in the next few years?
on the next few years, I definitely feel like I'll be much farther than than I am right now. I do have plans on dropping a new project soon. I want to work on some videos. A lot of people has been hitting me like, yo, like, you've been cooking a lot, but where's the music? Like, I wanna hear
You're
some
cooking in the
music.
kitchen, but what about
Yeah.
the studio?
Exactly. So, you know, and a lot of people has been hitting me saying that, and I just want to give them what they're asking for. I feel like, you know, as an artist, but as a female artist also, like, I feel like the versatility, like, it's needed right now, like. And then especially in my position, like, you know, being part of the LGBT community, like, we got young MA, so I feel like,
Yes.
all right, she made it. I could do that. Like,
Facts.
I need to be out there. So
She definitely coined a lane that wasn't, not to say wasn't there, because like we had like the Brat and like people like her, like, you know, have that type of like, okay, yes, like I'm bi, so this is I could talk about niggas and I could talk about bitches in the same type of thing. So
exactly.
do you feel like there's enough representation for you in hip hop, and what can we do to get to that if you don't feel like that?
I definitely don't think there's enough representation. I mean, you do hear the females talking about females here and there, but I feel like that stuff, like, of course, guys want to hear that. Like, oh, yeah, she like girls, but I want to just bring out something for the full-blown LGBT, not just, like, girls that, like, having fun and they'll do it here and there. Like,
Right, because
like,
it's not, I don't think they necessarily, like, sit here and it's mostly, like, usually, like, femme women that they're like, oh, that's cute. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And instead of it being like, no, this is really, like, who I am, and it's not for fun.
It's a lifestyle. Like,
yeah,
definitely. So, I definitely plan on showcasing that. Not saying that's all I'm about to be talking about is pussy this, pussy that, but I feel like I do have a lot to offer as far as, and, you know, not to toot my own horn, but I think I got a sound and I got bars a little better than a lot of these niggas out here. So I feel like I need to showcase that, like, humble some of them. But.
So what can you give us an idea of, like, what your project's gonna be about, or is it still, you know, in the works?
It's still in the works. Like I said, I do try to write at least one song a day. I have enough content to probably drop a few projects, but I do want to focus on one main one for now. Like, it's getting hot, so I do want to focus on, like, you know, the vibe, like being outside, the sun is out. If you want to drop your top, something you could bump, you know, and just enjoy yourself.
Drop your top in both ways.
Exactly.
I'm a rapper on the low, okay, y'all? Y'all already knew this about
real?
me.
Let
No.
me hear something.
Like, listen, no.
About to interview you on your own show. Like, let's hear something real
I got
quick.
bars. No, I'm kidding. I'm terrible at bars. I just love double entendres. That's my one thing.
Double entendres, I get it.
Yeah, but thanks for pulling up, Mo. I really appreciate you
No problem.
coming
I
through.
appreciate you having me. Like, when you hit me, I was actually surprised. Like, okay, I'm a little idle right now, but Zoe want me on the show? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm like also like it's if you think about it, I don't know, like, not to say I don't know a lot of women rappers, but I think that you come from a unique viewpoint in terms of like yes, being a part of the LGBTQ community, also like having the hip hop knowledge that you have, because like I've known you since like high school, so
yeah,
it's
facts.
like
we go back a little while. So.
yeah, so like I know that you have like the music that you're interested in is definitely, you know, one that's unique and that you actually really have an ear for it. So I'm rooting for you and support you in everything that you do. So
Always
thanks
support,
again.
Love is love, and same thing. Like, I wish you go far with this. Like,
Thank you.
It's really interesting. I listened to it, like, I didn't listen to all, but I did get through like 2 or 3 episodes, and I must say I am very impressed.
I appreciate
and I am proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I definitely am. Like, you know, and I appreciate like the podcasts and stuff that's going on now, because a lot of them are relatable. And I can say, as far as music, yours is very relatable. Like, you actually talk about real stuff. Like, you get in depth with a lot of the music that's going on, you know, that we hear today, and even artists that go back. So I think people need to tune in and definitely hear it and get their insight. And it's not this mumble rap. Like, it's not all about this mumble rap we're hearing today. Like, it's more to it. It's definitely more to it.
Well, thank you for that, and thanks for even the support at all. Tell them where to find you and where to look out for what you got coming.
Always. Again, my Instagram is the prototype _ so that's ThePrototype__ My Twitter is RGMO at RGMOE_. So you can follow me on either or, get some updates of what's going on, check out some of my freestyles. I got my SoundCloud link in the bio. If you want to listen to EP or anything I drop, that's definitely there as well. So
dope. Thanks for tuning in.